Lovely to be here. I will be talking about the most exciting topic ever, which is internal developer platforms. Hopefully you enjoy it as much as I do. My name is Will. I'm the co-founder of Northflank. I am an engineer, but I do hold the title of CEO. So let's get started. Internal developer platforms are back in vogue. Every company at some stage in their company lifecycle is thinking about building an internal developer platform to help enable their engineers deliver their best work as quickly as possible on hybrid cloud, on their own infrastructure, or on public cloud. And teams are looking to rationalize how they use Kubernetes. It's getting ever more challenging to manage and operate Kubernetes. And in a drive to increase efficiency and reduce costs, IDPs are seen as a solution. What does a platform look like? Why can we, well, the royal we, why can I talk about this? And what are the three core components of a successful developer platform, which we've identified as developer experience, security, and scale. This is what a typical platform could look like. It doesn't cover everything, but for our platform, these are the core components that we see. On the front end, and how a user will interface with an IDP is typically through an application console, a UI, an API, a CLI, DevOps templates, or GitOps. That normally feeds into a core platform which can integrate with observability platforms. Developers love to use Datadog or Grafana or S3. Version control. Every developer team may use GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, so your IDP has to integrate consistently with all three version control providers. Every engineering team wants to use the best tool for their problem, so they can use tens to 20 of different types of languages and databases. They can integrate with multiple types of CDNs. Some companies will use Fastly, Cloudflare, or Akamai. Container registries. GCR, GitHub Container Registry, Docker Hub. There's many types of container registries that all have different APIs, different authentication credentials. So your IDP has to integrate with many different types of container registries. Then we get on to the fun bit, which is Kubernetes. But of course, there's many different flavors of Kubernetes and different distributions, some of which include GKE, AKS, EKS, and of course, Civo Kubernetes. But then on-prem, OpenShift and Tanzu are often deployed. So your IDP may have to be hybrid cloud, where it integrates with all of these different platforms. And then at the bottom, we see compute, load balancers, networking, storage, and DNS, which for most of us, Kubernetes has fortunately abstracted away that complexity. But your IDP has to consider all of those different types of technologies. Why can I talk about this? We've built an internal developer platform for 20,000 engineers, and we deploy that on a multi-tenant control plane, enabling these engineers to do their best work. We've managed hundreds of thousands of builds, millions of containers have been deployed in this platform, and it's been built by a small team of 9 engineers across the world, delivering a self-service developer experience to thousands of stakeholders, who of course have very many different requirements and deploy with different technologies. This platform was built on top of 4 cloud providers and bare metal servers. We have delivered 6 highly available data services for one-click deployment of MongoDB, Redis, Postgres, MinIO, MySQL, and other stateful workloads. We have delivered a multi-layered secure runtime environment, which is one of the core components which I mentioned earlier, which is security. I'll go into more detail then. And then you've got to provide a consistent interface across UI, API, CLI, templates, and GitOps. And of course, every developer loves to build with Docker files and build packs, and you have to cater to many different use cases. Developer experience is probably the core component of an IDP. Make your developers more happy and deliver on their objectives. And that is often through being able to self-service and deploy any application, database, and job in a secure environment, providing a consistent experience across UI, CLI, APIs, and GitOps. Most platform engineering teams and advanced senior engineers are very comfortable with GitOps and an API CLI-driven experience, but more junior engineers are more comfortable with using a user interface or maybe a more simplistic CLI. And agnostic deployment targets enables teams to be able to deploy the workloads where they want them. An IDP has to meet their engineers where their engineers want to deploy the workloads. And of course, integrated observability gives application engineers capabilities to understand how their application is performing in production and in staging. Security, and this is something that we at Northflank take very, very seriously, and we see as the core component of an IDP. We deliver our secure runtime environment with gvisor and Kata containers, with Cloud Hypervisor, which is a fork of Firecracker, built by AWS. It's a very popular micro VM technology, and that allows us to secure and run untrusted code in a multi-tenant environment on Kubernetes, and that means that customer A and customer B can't attack each other. Network policies delivered through Cilium allow us to secure our network so that traffic is encrypted and that certain projects can't communicate through the network and attack each other. Traffic through MTLS is delivered with Istio to ensure that all traffic is encrypted in transit with MTLS. Secret encryption, encryption is very, very important. You could have API credentials working with banks or social networking sites, a Twitter API key, or an API key talking to Vault, storing your most important data. And therefore, secret injection and encryption is one of the most important parts, integrating with Vault or our own encryption service, injecting secrets at runtime and not stored inside Kubernetes secrets. As everyone may know or may not know, Kubernetes secrets are stored in base 64, and you probably shouldn't be storing anything important in them. Core DNS is a fantastic open source DNS server for Kubernetes, which allows you to have high performance DNS capability in your clusters. And that allows us to also lock down with RPS limits so that you can't DDoS your core platform. A lot of your internal requests will start to fail if your DNS servers are down. So Core DNS allows you to rate limit certain tenants and also prevent customers from querying resources within a certain tenant. And secure builds, building containers, untrusted code is a very risky business, and we can achieve that through BuildKit and secure runtimes or Dockerless builds with Canico, two fantastic open source projects which enable everything any IDP would be able to achieve. Three-tiered scale, software, infrastructure, and people. We see that scaling infrastructure includes things like adding nodes, clusters, regions, and providers. And that's one very complex part of scaling an IDP. But of course, it's not the only thing. People and software is, if not more complicated. Some workloads are horizontally scalable, some workloads are vertically scalable. You may need to scale the storage, compute. Kubernetes has storage primitives with read write once, but it also has capabilities like read once many. That involves attaching a pod to a single volume with multiple replicas. And you may find that incredibly challenging with performance and scale. Auto scaling, generally in a Kubernetes capability, will be delivered through a HPA. And that allows for horizontal scaling. Vertical scaling is a much more challenging capability and often isn't enabled by default. Scaling organizations can be also challenging through adding additional teams, whether that's learning, documentation, a self-service experience. Maybe a company has acquired a new business unit. Trying to get everyone on the same page and use a unified experience can be very challenging. And new developers being added into a new environment, maybe they're more familiar with serverless or another cloud platform, trying to provide a unified experience through an IDP is obviously critical. Well, I went through that quite rapidly, but does anyone have any questions? Thank you for listening about IDPs and what we do at Northflank.